I've been hearing a lot about this epic city development, a supposedly all Muslim community in just outside of Josephine, Texas, 40 miles from downtown Dallas, or 40 minutes from Plano, 30, I think 20 or 30 miles from downtown Dallas. And so I, much to my surprise, in a good way, Mark Levin, the great one, had on his Fox News show tonight uh, retired lieutenant. Uh, his name is Douglas Deaton, retired 26-year veteran of Plano Police Department. He's a SWAT guy, a veteran investigator, and many other things, and a threat assessment type guy. So he has been speaking out to the Collin County government, to Plano government, and to all of us who will listen. And on Mark Levin's show tonight, tell us what's going on over there. I did a lot of reading on this tonight, and I'm going to share a lot of stuff with you. But I'm going to say this: this does sound like Islam coming in and creating communities that are exclusive to Islam and creating Sharia law. And some of the people that are running the mosque and the center in East Plano are some of the same people that are the funding partners and are some of the same people. They're on the boards. It's all interchanged and intertwined, and none of this looks good. And I'm glad our governor's cracking down on this, and I'm glad others are. I'm going to share a bunch of details that I got from so many different sources tonight, writing so many different notes, etc. First of all, retired Lieutenant Douglas Deaton, who I've reached out to have on this show. Um, right there at the East Plano Islamic Center, Epic, if you will, right next door to the police department and their police academy is their massive mosque, their community they have right now that's smaller compared to what they're looking to do in Josephine, just outside of Josephine, Texas. But the first structure built is this massive fortress that the retired lieutenant talks about. It's like a massive fortress, massive house. You can see the pictures from the front and the back of it. The back of the house has a second floor platform that he describes as like a shooting platform, which is freaking scary. It's overlooking their bomb units, and where their Bearcats and other vehicles are stored. And of course, right by the Plano Police Department's training facilities, academy. It's also right next to a massive siren where apparently for emergencies that might go off and such. So this is all very alarming. But and I want to tell you something else. What I've learned about Islamists, radical Islam. And I'm not saying these folks are Islamists or radical Islam, but I will say this: what I know about Islamists and radical Islam, when it appears to look like, oh my gosh, no way, are they really doing that? It is. Not saying this is, but I'm saying when it appears to look like it, it is. And it isn't until because you can't believe it. It's inconceivable to you. When it happens, you somehow then are surprised, suddenly shocked. Why did I let this go? So, great news about our governor, our Attorney General Ken Paxton, the Texas Commission for Environmental Quality, TCEQ, I believe it is, and Texas Rangers. So many other are investigating so many different aspects of this. On fair housing laws, are they violating by refusing to sell to anyone but people that are members of their mosque and of their clique? This group, though, in East Plano, has a masjid, a religious school, a madrasa of some sort. And retired Lieutenant Douglas Deaton from Plano Police Department says that there is a video of the children at their school in East Plano at the mosque there, second and third graders chanting, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." That means kill every Jew, all 8.9 million Jews, slaughter them in Israel and wipe them off the map. And in fact, these same children that he said are chanting, second and third graders that are singing or chanting, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," are holding up their hand drawn maps of Palestine, and Israel doesn't exist, he claims. And also, he says they have they have efforts to free convicted terrorists who tried to murder U.S. soldiers and wanted to set off a dirty bomb in New York City. I believe he's referring to who's known as Lady Al Qaeda. If that is Lady Al Qaeda, that is the same terrorist. Do you remember that radical Islamist who flew in from Britain, bought a gun on the south side of Dallas, and then went over to the Colleyville Mosque and went in and took it over and was holding them hostage, saying the Jews are in charge of the media, the Jews control everything, free Lady Al Qaeda, and all these kinds of things. And remember, the disgraced former head of the FBI at the time in the Dallas office, Matt DeSarno, said the first thing he came out and said, "This is not Islamic. This is not Islamist. This is not a radical Islam. This is not a terrorism." They freaking lied, but that's a sidebar. Think about David Koresh. They're looking at making this massive complex with, and I've got my notes from Lieutenant Deaton's appearance on Mark Levin. Townhomes, single family homes, multiple apartment buildings, masjid schools, senior living, commercial spaces, parks, field, courts. You're looking at what is it? It's thousands of acres. The exact acreage I don't have in front of me. I wrote it down somewhere, but the point is thousands and thousands of acres and tons of homes that they're looking at building and on this East Josephine property. Who is funding it? They're investigating that. The organization heading it up is Community Capital Partners, according to Lieutenant Douglas Deaton, retired. He says the organization says, "Oh, we're a totally separate entity. The people from Community Capital Partners and the mosque and all that, we're all different." But he says they are. While they say they're a totally different entity, their principles are all the same. People are running the same people running the East Plano Islamic Center. How would Plano react to, or any area in North Texas react to an exclusive Christian community? How would they feel about, say, my church, First Baptist Dallas, or uh, uh, Prestonwood, or one of these other massive churches that I support and love, forming their own group and exclusive communities? How would that fly? It sounds scary, doesn't it? It doesn't sound American, does it? It sounds cloistered off. It sounds like something Islam would do, like they've done in no-go zones in Paris. Mark Levin was saying this sounds a lot like Paris and the no-go zones and Islamic-only communities. Got that going on also in Britain. Why wouldn't it go on here? I pray it doesn't, and I pray it does. It gets stopped. They appear to be doing these radical Islamic things. Epic City 2.0, which is this massive sprawling complex they're talking about. Um, Outside of Josephine. There's also other areas that are doing these Muslim-owned residential developments. Look at this. The city of Blue Ridge awaiting rezoning approval from the city council for two Muslim-owned residential developments. The Islamic Center of Aubrey recently closed on 25 acres of land. McKinney Islamic Association sought permission last year to rezone 5.5 acres. They were denied. So you are looking at efforts, separate Islamic efforts in McKinney, Aubrey, and Blue Ridge to build communities that appear to be exclusive type communities. And what's amazing is today, April 14th, Epic City's future is now in Collin County Commission's hands when they will decide whether to approve a permit for them, reportedly today. That is wild that this is going on right now, and it's happening this very day. The new development would be 400 acres just outside of Josephine, Texas, 1,000 homes, a massive mosque and mixed use development. Like I said, all these unbelievable massive facilities for senior living, commercial spaces, parks, fields, contract, courts, townhomes, single family homes, retirement. I mean, this is just wild. The Dallas Morning News was told by these folks, quote, "We will not enforce blanket bans on any group of people, but we will conduct thorough individualized assessments of prospective buyers to ensure they align with our goals of safety and security." Have you ever heard of a neighborhood or an HOA saying, "We're going to interview to make sure that you align with our goals of safety and security"? Does that sound like something that's normal in America? No. TCEQ I mentioned says they have not this epic proposed community has not obtained the required authorizations or permits. The Governor Abbott, thank God for him and all these things he's doing with this. He's accused the Islamic Center of practicing Sharia law, violating state law, ordering a criminal investigation into the mosque recently. We are uncovering legal violations by Epic City that go far beyond what people realize, Governor Abbott tweeted at that particular day. The proposed community will never see the light of day. More to come, Governor Abbott said. He alleges the mosque broke the law by operating as a funeral home. Quote, "They are knowingly breaking state law in many ways, including by operating a funeral home without a license. A cease and desist went out. Stop preparing bodies for burial. Abbott said, asked the local DA to pursue criminal charges. They're in the right county to do that in Collin County. On Friday, this is from March 31st, about 2 weeks ago, Texas Workforce Commission, TWC, said they're investigating Epic for potentially discriminating against non Muslims. You can't discriminate against non Muslims, just like you can't discriminate against blacks, Hispanics at all. The Texas Workforce Commission says the developers are potentially breaking state fair housing laws by refusing to sell or rent housing to certain groups based on religious or other protected traits. The group behind the proposed East Plano Islamic Center compound may be misleading investors, Abbott says. Defrauding Texans will not be tolerated. The Texas State Securities Board conducting a thorough investigation to ensure Texans are protected from financial harm. Now, listen to this. While promising to become the epicenter of Islam in America, wait a minute. They're promising this community to be the epicenter of Islam in America, and yet they're not discriminating against people like you and me that might want to buy a house there. Mm-mm. By the way, they're saying, "Oh, we're not discriminating." Do you know that Islam, from everything I've read, heard about over the years, that Islam permits lying if it's to further the cause of the faith? That is what I've read and heard many, many, many times over the years, that Islam does allow to lie to further the cause of Islam. The community's website project from Epic says they project that it'll be ready to live in by 2026 or 2027, a year or two. Woo! The TWC says it's illegal to discriminate, to refuse to rent, sell, negotiate, or set different terms, let alone by race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin. Who's the racist now? Who's the phobic now? Huh? Are they going to let Jews live there? Here's where I'm going to leave you with a closing thought. Sorry, there's just so many things tonight, and I'm kind of just dumping into it tonight with a lot of information. But I wanted to say this: they better start hitting delete really fast. And they better hope when they're hitting delete and shredding a lot of documents, presumably, if they do that, they better hope that they don't get caught doing that, because that'll be more stuff. And I want the Trump DOJ to investigate them, don't you?